Welcome to Let's Talk Micro. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Micro. As always, I hope you had a great week. And you can always find Let's Talk Micro on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Tuning Radio, GoodPods. Whatever you listen to podcasts, you can find Let's Talk Micro. As for our social media, I am on Instagram as Let's Talk Micro, no apostrophe, on Twitter as Let's Talk Micro 1, on LinkedIn as Luis Plaza, on TikTok as Let's Talk Micro, and a YouTube channel, Let's Talk Micro. You can also email any feedback, any questions to letstalkmicro@outlook.com. So please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, download episodes, leave a review if the app allows you to do so. Definitely please, thank you for listening, so continue downloading episodes. If you have any topic suggestions or feedback, it is always welcome and appreciated. If you haven't checked out the previous episode, please go ahead and do so. It was a great conversation with Dr. Andrea Princi and Dr. Rodney Rody. They have been guests before, so it's always a great time, always great chats with them. So they came to the podcast, and they talk about biofilms, what kind of microbes you can see in biofilms, how does AMR, what kind of antimicrobial resistance, do biofilms exhibit. So definitely overall, a great episode. If you haven't checked it out, please go ahead and do so. And today's episode, as always, it's a great one. So I'll be brief about the description and then we'll go ahead and listen to it. But, as you know, I always like when people, they use their education, their knowledge to make things better. We had to adapt, with COVID and making tools and, using online teaching. So people, people are getting creative and coming with new ways of teaching, with new tools. And this one is a great one. So it's about a card game, but it's about bacteria, and it is called Bacteria Game. So in the episode, I have three guests. There are Dr. Mathilde Lescat, Nicolas Piñeros. They are from the University of Sorbonne in Paris. And I also have Katie, which is the one that she designed the drawings for the cards. So, great conversation about the game, what kind of audience it is intended for, how did they come up with this idea? So a great conversation. I love how Dr. Lescat, she talks about how she wanted to improve herself as an educator. And that is great. As educators, we always have to try to improve ourselves and see how can we deliver our material. How can we be effective educators? And she mentions that there was a little bit of resistance about the game. Sometimes change can be difficult, but on today's times, with all the stimuli and the information overload that we have, sometimes it is difficult to capture the attention of our students. So we definitely have to come up with ways to retain their attention and that, that we deliver the material effectively. So definitely this is a great effort. And I went ahead and I purchased the card game myself. So great episode, great effort, great conversation. So let's go ahead and listen to it. So those of you that listen to Let's Talk Micro, you know that the goal of Let's Talk Micro is always, to share information. I'm always like to connect with people, and I like people that use their education, their knowledge to make this profession better, to make microbiology better, to bring information, to help people in learning micro. After all, it's a lot of information. So today I have some guests here that they came up with a game to learn microbiology. So this was I found it very fascinating, very interesting. So right now with me, I have two guests, and then I have a third one that will be joining later. So with me, I have Mathilde Lescat and Nicolas Piñeros. Dr. Lescat and Nicolas, welcome to Let's Talk Micro.
Hi, Luis.
Hello, so thank you. So we do the introduction now?
Yes, so for the audience, let's go ahead and start with an introduction.
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much, Luis. So I'm Mathilde Lescat. I'm a lecturer at the University Sorbonne Paris Nord in France. And also I'm a medical bacteriologist doing also some research, diagnostic in hospital. And I'm very interested in medical education and general education and how to improve my teachings with my students that are in medical school. So I had the chance to meet Nicolas, which will introduce himself, who is a game designer in my university, and Katie, that will join us maybe later, which is a drawer. So I let Nicolas speak for himself.
So I'm Nicolas Piñeros. I work at the Université Sorbonne Paris. It's a French university on the north of France, of Paris, sorry. I work in a space called Ludomaker, and we focused our experiences about on games. So I develop a lot of serious games with teachers like Mathilde, just for instance, in this instance. And I work with private institutions. I'm also game designer. I'm also teacher for game design. So I have a lot of different aspects of my job, but they're all reunite in one single thing, and it's play and game.
Well, thank you. Once again, it's very nice meeting you both, and thank you for coming into the podcast. So let's go ahead and talk about the game. So it is called the bacteria game. So for the audience, what's the bacteria game?
So it is a card game with bacterium cards represented by drawings made by Katie and characteristic cards that the player has to associate. The bacterial characteristics are gram appearance, family, main resistance to antibiotics. Also, there are some bacterial characteristics about the environmental or common sites in which the bacteria evolve, usually, so natural environments, the infectious sites, the diagnostic methods, and also how to treat the bacteria. So this is bacteria game.
Yes, and for the audience, I will, once I post this episode, I will definitely I will put the link to their pages, and they do videos when they show the game. And I myself bought the game and I play with it. So I will put some pictures of that as well on social media. So this game, is it intended for what kind of a population? Is it for students or professionals? Like, who's the game targeted for?
So the game is aimed to medical students from medical and pharmacy schools of different levels, from third year. In that case, it's at the end as a review of the medical teachings or the bacteriology sessions. Everything we have to learn, they have to know as a review. And after that, when we begin for instance, for internship years, also for residents in bacteriology lab or also in infectious disease, at the beginning, we want them to review all they know about bacteria and to continue their training. And I also use a bacteria game. In that case, I can change my messages because I pass a lot of messages, pedagogical messages during the game when I'm present with the students. It can also be used for training of technicians in the lab, in the hospital. I use it in the lab, for instance, when the technicians arrive in the lab. For also continuous training, and it's very useful to provoke game staff. How to say that. Fusion of the staff, you see, to interdisciplinary. It's interdisciplinary, but also to provoke some communication with the technicians and also with the students. We can speak about a lot of things with that. So that's it.
Okay, yeah. So definitely like to bring the teams together and more communication, and yeah. Okay, and I like this. Yeah, definitely for students, it's always good. I think sometimes not everyone when we, micro, it's a lot of information and clinical micro. So it's very good that everyone, from laboratorians to physicians, that everyone gets really familiarized with all this information, because every now and
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
I was searching the term because I'm sorry, I was knowing in French the term as a team building. So as a team building things, you see. So with the technicians in the hospital and our other colleagues, we can do some team building and also continuous for training. That's it. Sorry.
No worries. Definitely, I like that. Definitely team building. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so then just for the audience, so how does the game work?
I'm gonna step on that. The idea came from both of us, from Mathilde and I. We started to search different game mechanics that will adapt to the content. That's what mainly my job is. Try to figure out the content and put some game mechanics in place in order to make it fluid, to make it approachable, to make it simple. And that was a long process because at first, well, as every teacher that I work with, Mathilde had a lot of expectations on how much content you can put on a game. And we easily realized that you are limited because of the time, because you have to adapt to a course lesson, and you don't have more than 2 hours, and you have to do a brief and a debrief on the game, because yeah, it's good to play, but you have to put some context on it. And in order to do so, you have to explain the rules, you have to explain what you're doing that, and at the end, was it good? Did it make a difference for you? So on and all, we have 2 hours to play with that, with those little times at the beginning and at the end, in order to put them all together. And the game mechanics, it's we ended up with some ideas around bluffing, with the idea that yes, you can be the one that knows the answer in terms of knowledge, but you can steal the cards to another person if you just a little bit more, a little bit quicker. So the idea is that it's I don't know if you ever have played, or audience, have you ever played Monopoly cards, where you build your own colors. So it's kind of the same idea. It's not exactly the same, but it's kind of the same idea. You're going to build colors. So in this case, we're going to build bacteria and their own characteristics. But then you can have also the good idea of stealing, if you know the answer from a colleague, you can steal the whole package from your colleague and validate it as your own. The idea is to make just not a Trivial Pursuit game, just answers and questions, but just put some spice on it, like make it more approachable to people, and make it more like a party game, more than just questions and answers. So yeah, I think that's overall the game. Once you validated your two bacteria and the characteristics that goes with them, you win the game. So it's a really quick game. The idea is to make it's like Uno or Spotted. You can play it many times during a session, because most of the time when you play a game, you don't know the rules the first time, you don't understand them, but then you have the opportunity to play again, and that's where it becomes really, really rich. Also with the game, that was all Mathilde. I just was on graphic design. She created this little booklet that goes with it, that gives you all the answers, and any player can know what it's all about between play sessions, in order to know what's gonna be like the game later on.
I just could add that sure, the first session we play is longer due to the fact that the students doesn't know the rules, the players doesn't know the rules. Usually it's more close to 1 hour or 1 hour and a half to the first session. And then I made the session shorter, but 30 minutes, 45 minutes, it's okay. When the players know the rules, it's okay like that. And during the game, I pass a lot of messages, key messages that they have to know about each bacteria. And as Nicolas said, several sessions of 30 minutes, for example, are needed to see all the 20 bacteria, but 3 to 4 sessions. So, for example, during this semester, I have residents, and I will see them 4 times. We will do 4 sessions with all of them, and they really like it for their training.
Yeah, I gotta add something to that. The fact that Mathilde has been doing some research on their own students, meaning that she's been trying to measure the effects, positive or negative, around the game. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mathilde, but most of the time it's positive.
Yeah. So I wanted to say that at the end. And so Nicolas perfectly introduced that fact. Also, I'm conducting some study research on education, and so I've made that. I've collected the feedback of about 100 students, and also studied the impact of the use of the game on their knowledge. By comparison with a classical lecture, and observed, but only with less than 20 students, a positive impact. So it was better to use the game. The increase of the knowledge was most important with using the game compared to classical lecture. But we have to do that again in a multi-center study, and I will explain that later. So Katie is there?
Yes. So Katie just joined us. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. But first, I'm gonna say hi, Katie. How are you? Very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Welcome to Let's Talk Micro.
Yeah, Katie's the drawer.
Okay. So so definitely I do like the fact that it is tailored so you can do it in an actual class. So it's because the game lasts long enough where you can do it in a class period. So that was very very nice, and a different way of teaching things, because definitely it's a lot of material, and some of us people have different attention spans, and sometimes you're sitting through a lecture and your mind goes off somewhere, and you start thinking about other stuff. So definitely this is very engaging, and so I like that, and I like what you said about the Nicolas, about the monopoly kind of with the colors. So you put in the bacteria with its characteristics together. So I definitely like that. Okay. So you kind of touch on the. Sorry, go ahead.
No. And what is really powerful is also the fact that there are some drawings in the game. So we didn't talk about it before because Katie was not there, and I wanted her to talk about her cartoons herself.
Yes. So, Katie, so hello again. So you're the drawer of this game. So can you tell us a little bit about this whole process?
I was contacted by Mathilde to do the illustrations for the game. And so I worked with her on how I could represent the bacteria, showing characteristics so that they could be recognizable, and give information through the drawing, such as, like, for example, what are the symptoms of the diseases, where they can be caught, etc. So yes, I try to illustrate the bacteria and give information also about it.
Well, definitely. I was telling Mathilde and Nicolas, I bought the game and I've seen it and I've seen the video, so it looks really good. So it was definitely a very good job. So congratulations on your drawing. It was just really, really good.
What is your favorite?
out of the game, like the organisms.
Yeah, the drawing.
Yeah, out of the drawings. I mean, I like the Klebsiella one.
Klebsiella? Okay. Okay. Mine is, I think, is Listeria and also Salmonella.
For me, what it's important is that before Cathy came along, we did, I don't know how many versions of the game in terms of prototyping. More than 5, I don't know. And the game always seems sterile. It didn't seem like something that was finished. And once Katie came along with all the illustrations for the game, it just came alive.
And also, I could add that the students really, each time that they see the game the first time, they really like the drawings. And they say that it helps them to acquire the knowledge, because this is very, she put really good key messages, very important to know about each bacteria and bacterium, and is different between all the bacteria. And so they really like those drawings, and it gives them really good messages to learn, and that's great. That was really fantastic to have Katie with us.
Definitely. So so this game is intended for students to learn. So what was the reason how you came up with this idea of creating the game? And overall, do you have a goal for it?
Everyone knows that the emergence of antibiotic resistance is a major public health problem. And at the same time, medical bacteriology is a very difficult discipline to teach for students. It's very difficult also to learn for them because it's based on a classification. It can be boring. And we saw also for us teachers the number of hours decreasing. We saw that our hours, we had less time to teach bacteriology to the students, and often students do not really come to our class at the end. So there was something that didn't match: increase of resistance, problem of knowledge, and decrease of possibility to teach for us. So I wanted to ask how to me. I wanted to improve my teachings, and I made some training about that. And I had the chance to meet these tools that are educational games, and to meet Nicolas. And I had the idea to do these games to improve my teachings. At first I use in my lectures with about 50 students. I could use several tables in the meantime. It was possible. I continue to do that. And then I also introduced the game with the students in continuous training in the hospital. I go to different units in the hospital and do training with undergraduate medical students, but also with interns. And then I introduced the game in the lab with the technicians.
Yeah, to follow a little bit with that, I think also what it's really important what you were saying, Luis, is that learning through play, it's an alternative. In any case, you will hear me say that it's the only alternative, because it isn't, but it's one way that I think it's really important for people to get some context, some content out of context, and that allows people to leave some pressure behind. Even if they don't know the answer, they can always look at the booklet that Mathilde created for them. And I think it's just a joyful moment for the students. I was present on 2 or 3 of the tests that we made together previous to publication. And they at first they were a little bit reluctant because they were thinking on this is a waste of time, but the third session they were just okay, we're going to do it again. So it's really a nice feeling that what you're doing is being received well and people is loving and being engaged on what you're doing. And I think that's the goal of the thing. Engage people in learning what they love, and try to figure out a way to put all the content that you have in your head that you want to communicate with students, put it together in a box and try to pass it on to someone else. I think that's the main goal, regardless of the subject.
Yeah, I definitely I see that, and I do agree. And the feeling, I can identify with that. I have people reach out and students that they say, hey, I listened to your episode of this and it helped me. So it's definitely, it's a good feeling when what you're doing out there, it's working, and it's a lot of information and it takes a long time to learn it all. And any tool that we can use to help them, to convey this information, it's always definitely very welcome. And we take advantage of things, like games and technology and stuff like that. Mathilde, I like how you said that you definitely, you wanted to teach this, and at the same time you were trying, you found ways to improve yourself, which is something, an educator should always be looking at when you're teaching. How can I make sure that my information, comes out better to the students and they learn better? So definitely, good job on that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughts and things, but a lot of my colleagues at first didn't find it was a good idea. I had the chance that my chief in the hospital supported me, but a lot of colleagues at first said it was not serious, it was not a good idea in medical teaching to use games. What are we doing here? No, it's not serious. We are medical doctors. We don't do that. It's not good. But time after time, I see really changes, and it changes thanks to the students that first really gave us really good feedback about it, and now we see that there is an engagement also from other teachers, and maybe I will talk to that later, but no. I'm happy to say that the game had the funding of the French Ministry of Health. It is now edited by the French Society of Microbiology, and thanks to the French Ministry of Health, it is distributed in all medical and pharmacy schools in France. We distributed about 500 game in France. And we also want to conduct, after that, a multi-center study to reproduce the results I've talking to you before. So we cross the finger to see if we can see also a positive impact on a larger study.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, you've seen your product, like you've been used in all the different schools, and that's definitely great. And yeah, I mean, sometimes, it's hard when making change is different. It's difficult, and we have to adapt sometimes. The reality is that a lot of the students nowadays, sometimes, their attention is different than when we used to, when we sat there and did something more traditional. Sometimes, you have to find ways to engage them better. Like they sit there through a lecture and they get incredibly bored. And so, we have to adapt. It's something that definitely with the pandemic, we had to change. And me personally, before I didn't like the idea of teaching online before. And it's something that I had to do to adapt to the times. And, it has this result. So definitely, finding ways for the students to learn better at the end. And, that's the end goal. So Okay, so if someone wanted to order the game, where would you go?
Yeah, yeah, it is possible as you did. So the game is available on the website of the French Society of Microbiology. So in French, la Société Française de Microbiologie. You have to type www.sfm-microbiology, but in French. So you have to replace Y at the end by I and E. You know, in French, microbiology is not written in the same way. .org, O-R-J. Or you type, I think, bacteria game SFM, you will find it on Google. I think. We don't have distributors in foreign countries, but it would be interesting to do that. We are open to collaborations, but for now we don't have it. It's the only way to find the game. But if you have any idea, you can say or contact me as you want.
Yeah, you can help us conquer the world.
So I'll definitely put the website and stuff on the show notes when I publish the episode. And for the audience out there, yeah, it was a fairly easy process. I mean, in the way that I knew that I was looking for it, so I did type bacteria game, and then I went to the website, and for me, like, I selected in English, and then from there I ordered, and it didn't take long. I think I got it within a week. So it was a really quick process from the moment that I purchased it to the moment that I got it. So you listeners out there, I will put the information out there for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna change roles now, and I'm gonna ask Luis a question, and the question is, how did you get to bacteria game?
So how did I find out about it?
How did you find out about it? How did you know it exists, and how did you become interested in it?
Well, like, I'm as a microbiologist and podcaster, I'm always looking around and trying to find different pages, looking for content. So see something that's relevant to what we do, and I really like to focus on things that help make the profession better. So if someone is doing some sort of initiative or finding a way to teach something easier, and they publish something about it or they put it on social media, I will probably find it. So I'm still always looking around. So I follow several podcasts, and then I saw that the European Federation of Microbiology, they posted an episode and they were talking about it. So then, I listened to both of you on the episode that they were talking about the game, and it just made me curious. So I just went ahead and looked at the bacteria game page, and it just went from there. And then I ordered it and I saw it. So yeah, that's how I'm always looking for stuff like that, and definitely paying attention to what other people publish and any articles or anything that's interesting for microbiology.
Okay, that's interesting to know the process, because from my point of view, you create a project, but sometimes as academics we are not into communication and into following the thing, and it's a really good surprise when someone so far away from us gives you a different perspective on how you get to know the information. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, my pleasure. I mean, and that's one of the things that I'm looking forward through this medium, this podcast, is to connect with people, and not only in the States, for anyone in the world. I mean, I only speak English and Spanish, so that's as far as I can communicate. Maybe a little bit of Italian I can understand, but I'm definitely looking forward for communicating and connecting with other people in the world, and make sure that the information is accessible so others can see the game and have access to it and see what's out there. So as of right now, the game is in French and English. Are you planning on releasing it in any other languages in the future?
Not now, but with the FEMS, so the Federation of European Microbiology Societies, we may have an opportunity if I can have some fundings to also to do other languages, but it's not so easy to do that. It takes a lot of time. And we want now to see if in English if it's well received, and other people like you can use it and order it. And after that, we will see. But it's a lot of work. It's so enormous.
I was wondering, why do you ask the question for the languages? Would you care if it's on Spanish, for example?
Well, I mean, I probably some people would. I mean, I just because typically just to make it more accessible. I was just curious because sometimes you do get. I mean, I'm not sure, like especially like even with Spanish. I've seen in this journey, I met a lot of microbiologists and a lot of other people from Hispanic countries and not all of them might speak English, or they might speak another language, but maybe not French or English. So I was just curious about that, about accessibility.
Actually, in Spanish would be a very good idea. It will be the next languages for sure.
And then Mandarin.
Definitely. So you said, yeah, it's definitely it's a lot of work, I bet. I mean, creating this, and it just it has to be. As far as, do you have any future plans? I mean, maybe coming up with another game or doing something else?
Yeah, for sure. So as I said, we made the distribution of the games in France. We want to conduct this multi-center study. The study I've talked before. We talked before. Also, Nicolas talked about it. We had it is under minor revisions in the FEMS microbial letters. So it's very good. We just get the answer. It's very good, and I think it will be okay after that. But we cross the finger. And we want to conduct this multi-center study. The game was also sold. About 250 games were sold in France and also in foreign countries, as you did. And now we want to do an application. So numeric transformation of the games to increase the diffusion. We try to find some fundings about it. This is the main project we have. And also, as you said, another game. We did with Katie other drawings. These games will be about infectious disease, not only bacteria, some due also to viruses or other microorganisms. But the public would be more general, specifically for children and teenagers. And we made a lot of things, but we have a lot of work again to produce the game and to have a physical version of the game. As I said, it's a lot of work. Katie did a lot. We have to do more, but we also cross the finger to see this project happen. So that's it.
Yeah, as Mathilde said, I think one of the steps forward is transforming the game into an app, and that will allow accessibility to many people way faster than we do selling board games. I think that's a really good medium for what we did, and it's I don't know if you ever played a Space Team on well, it's an old game used on tablets mainly. The idea is that you collaborate on a Wi-Fi network, so you're not playing online, you're playing just with your colleagues online in a local network. And I think that's going to be the best idea for students to play well, most of the time during a classroom. So that's going to be one of the ways that you put it online and people can use it easily.
Well, definitely, wish you the best of luck. And I think definitely, some sort of app or something will definitely have a huge presence. The that's a big component of everyone's lives, their phones and apps. So I wish you the best. I don't know, Katie, just out of curiosity, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but remember, how long does it take you to make one of these drawings, for example? Like, do you spend like a day, or how long?
I'd say like maybe 2 hours, but then it depends on the drawing, because sometimes I have to change it a few times. So like I do the drawing and then I have to send it to Mathilde, and then sometimes there's changes that have to be made, etc. But yeah, a few hours.
Okay. Is there anything else that any of you want to add?
There is. I forgot to say, Katie is also working with one of my colleagues on viral game, also on viruses, also intending to medical students. So we continue to produce transformation of bacteria game on that, and also I've created an Instagram page. Which is Bacteria Gamer, where you can find different informations about Bacteria Game, how to use it, different summary sheets for each bacterium that is present in the booklet we've created with Nicolas and also Katie for the drawing. So you can find, you can see it on the page, Bacteria Gamer Instagram page. You can also find I post some microbiological cases, lecture summaries, videos of feedback of the students, of the rules. So I try to post a lot of things to improve the interest of the students about bacteriology on this page also. And to conclude, also, I will be present in Copenhagen, in Denmark, for the ECMID Congress next month in April. So I will be present with the game, and I will present also my research on bacteria game next month in the Congress. So if you are there, so come and meet me. I will be there on Monday all day long with a table to play.
That's amazing. So I definitely sounds great. I wish you the best one. So definitely, it's been a pleasure having all of you here and taking the time to be on Let's Talk Micro.
Yeah. Thank you to you, Luis. Thank you so much to invite us.
Thank you for making us participate on your podcast. It was really nice of you.
All right, my pleasure. And that, my dear audience, it's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed learning about the bacteria game. I definitely enjoyed talking about it and enjoyed chatting with, Dr. Lescat, Nicolas Piñeros, and Katie. So definitely a great episode. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading episodes. Please continue doing so. I love sharing this information with you. As always, continue bringing that passion to what you do. It's so important. We do such great work. And definitely stay tuned. Definitely really good things coming your way. So as always, stay motivated, stay safe, and of course, continue talking micro. Until the next time. Bye.